Hello everyone, we miss seeing you and we hope you are doing well. Remember, if you have any questions or you need help or you want to talk to us, you can contact us on Facebook. You can send us a message and you can call and then hopefully we would like to hear from you, but we do hope that you are doing well and that you are staying safe and healthy in your home. Now, we're going to read today, and we're going to remember what we've been talking about is we've been talking about how after Jesus died, he came to life again because he is stronger than death, and he is stronger than sin. And so Jesus has come to fight sin and death, and he wants us to change. He wants us to change. How? How does he want us to change? He wants us to believe the good news, who Jesus is, and that he came to die for sin and to come to life. Why? To give us new life. And so today we're going to read about somebody who is going to believe. He is going to change and he is going to have new life. Why? Because of what Jesus did. So, let's read. Philip was a disciple of Jesus. Okay, so we're going to have Philip here, all right? And this is Philip, and Philip is a disciple of Jesus. He went out telling people the good news. Okay, and so remember, the good news. What is he telling them? He's telling them that Jesus has come. He is the Son of God, and he came and he died to fight against sin. And he rose from the dead to fight against death. Jesus has come. He has fought sin and death, and he is alive. This is good news because one day he will come back to take care of all of our problems. But now we can have new life because of Jesus. One day, Philip was walking on the road. An Ethiopian came by in a chariot. Okay, and so here's Philip, and he is walking on the road, and there is an Ethiopian in a chariot. An Ethiopian. This is someone from Ethiopia, right? We know many people from Ethiopia. We have many friends, many students who are from Ethiopia. And so here is a story about a person from Ethiopia, and he is in the chariot. And so this is our Ethiopian from Ethiopia, now in the chariot. So this is the chariot, okay? And he was a servant of the queen of Ethiopia. And the boss of the queen's money. Okay, and so this person is very important, has a nice chariot, and he is the queen of the boss of the queen's money, right? So very important job. All right. The Ethiopian was reading the Old Testament. Okay, and so this is what he's doing, reading the Old Testament. And what is the Old Testament? Remember, these are all the stories from long before where God told his people about who he is. And so these are stories about Abraham and Isaac and even all the way to David and his son Solomon, and how Israel was very strong, but then Israel broke apart. And remember, God is telling his people about who he is, but also God is telling his people that one day he is going to send a good king. He is going to send the best king. and he is going to save his people. And so this is what the Ethiopian is reading. He is reading the stories from God from long before Jesus came. And so let's see what happens, because now Philip is going to come. All right? Philip asked,
Do you understand what you are reading?
What you are reading. Okay? So Philip is going to ask the Ethiopian, do you know? Do you understand what you are reading? The man said, No.
I have no teacher.
I have no teacher. Okay, so this is what the Ethiopian says. He says, I don't understand. Why? I have no teacher, right? And this is who we are. We are teachers, right? We teach you, we teach English, we also teach about who God is, right? Why? Because we want you to understand. We want you to understand America. We want you to understand English. But we also want you to understand who God is. And so Philip says, I have no teacher. Or the Ethiopian says to Philip, I have no teacher. So let's see what happened. Philip sat with him in the chariot and explained the Old Testament and the good news about Jesus. And so Philip is going to tell the Ethiopian the good news from the Old Testament, and the story that what God is doing is he wants to save his people. And he is going to send Jesus to save his people, to be the best king for all time. And this is the story even of the Old Testament. Even all the way the story of David, and the story of his son Solomon, and the story of Israel breaking apart. This is all a story about God is going to send his son, Jesus, to save his people, to fight their biggest enemy, and to be king forever. So, as they were going, the Ethiopian said, Look, here is water.
Should I not
be baptized
if I
believe? Okay, and so the Ethiopian says, look, there is water. I believe. I have changed. I have new life. And he says, should I be baptized? Why? Again, remember, baptized, to use the water to show you have new life. To show now I am clean, right? He told the chariot to stop. And they both went into the water. Philip baptized the man right there. The Ethiopian went back to his home very
happy.
Now, the Ethiopian is very happy. He goes back to his home. And he goes back to his home very happy to tell his friends good news. Why? Because he has changed. He has believed the good news. And now he has new life. Why does he have new life? Because of who Jesus is. Because what Jesus did. Jesus has come. He is the king forever. And as the king, he has fought our biggest enemies, sin and death. And now, because he has fought sin and death, one day he will come again and he will fight all the enemies. He will get rid of sin forever. He will get rid of death forever. And he will get rid of pain and crying, and everything will be good. Why? Because he is the best king. And he is the one who gives us new life. Now, the Ethiopian has new life. And he will go home and he will tell his friends the good news. And this is what we want for you. To believe. To let God change you so that you have new life. Why? Because coming to America is good. Learning English is good. But this is not the best. This is not the best news. The best news is that you can have new life because of what Jesus did. So, learning English is good. Staying home and staying safe is good. But learning about Jesus, who gives us new life, is much, much